Сәлем достар, бұл Қарабала каналы мен бейбарыс кеттік бастадық. Бүгін бізде The Stanley Parable деген ойын, былай айтқанда офисте жүретін, жұмыс жасап жүрген адам. Соның ойыны. Бастайық онда.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Қысқаша айтқанда, мына жігіт деген айтқан затты істеп жүре берген күн сайын.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Переговорный деген қай жерде екен? Офисте ешкім жоқ дейді. Мына есіктер жабық. Сағат. Күн сайын сол айтқанын істеп жүрген, еще ол бақытты болған соң істеген жұмысына. Күндердің бір күні ештеңе келмей қалған. Сол шынына тексерейін деп тұрды.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Сол жаққа кірген деп айтып тұр. Бірақ біз сол жақ емес, оң жаққа кірейік.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Мына ойында бізге выбор береді. Соны өзіміз білеміз, қайсын таңдасақ та.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ал тыңдап көрейік. Бір орында тұрып.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Қағаздар жатыр мына жақта. Ешкім жинайтын адамдар жоқ екен.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message. But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Ойынның айтқанымен жүрмеймін мен. Қай кірсін деп тұр ғой. Жоқ, біз былай барамыз.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Так, өтірік айтпа деп тұр. Табличкеде. Өтірік айтып тұрсаң, қазір осы жерде тоқта дейді. Мынау не зат екен? Склад болып тұр ғой. Қайда жүреміз екен? Мына жақта карта керек қой. Яқа кетсем мен құлап кетпеймін екен?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking... Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Тыңдамайым деп шешті мына айтып отқан адам. Өзім таңдаймын, өзім выборымды.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Жоқ, мен красный емес.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Жоқ, мен көкке барам.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Мәссаған, маған выбор қалдырмады ғой. Міне тұр екен.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Мен білгім келіп. Мәссаған, мынау не зат?
I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Так, бізге мына жігіт үшінші вариант беріп тұр. Кіреміз бе, кірмейміз екен? Кіріп көрейік ал.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Көп сөйлейтін адам екен. Бізге тағы да кірсін деп тұр мына. Бірақ сол жағына кіріп көрейік онда. Дәл жаңағы жер ғой.
Competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors. Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Так, бассақ. Бармаймыз екен отқа, аланы. Қашан тоқтайды екен ол? Жүре берсін да көрейік. Пока.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate
Жүрегің
babies
қатты
or
екен дейін.
purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
Бітірдік
Hey,
дейді
since my
ойын.
game is so
Мәссаған, не
awful,
болып біттің?
why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Так, сүйіп жүрді.
Aha!
Мәссаған, басқа ойын көріп кеттік қой.
What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Есікті ашты. Шығып көрейік онда. Керемет екен табиғаты.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
Қалай біз офисте жүріп былай шықтық?
It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
Мәссаған, не болып бітті?
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
Жер ашықтыр ол.
Out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable...
Давай, басқа ойынды көрсетем дейді ол. Көрсетсін, ал көрейік онда.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
О,
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
так, мынау. Біз қайға түсіп кеттік, футбольный
Okay,
поля
so
ма?
what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball.
Стоп,
Have
қайда?
fun.
Оп. Кеттік салайық онда. Жүгір. Гол!
Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable... Hold on. What are you doing?
Мәссаған, не болып бітті?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Так, мен өзім жазам историямды. Мен қараған ештеңе көрінбейді. Қайда барсам? Мына жақта не бар? Қалай қалай кетіп жатыр мына? Қай жаққа түсіп кеттік? Біреудің подъезі сияқты ғой. Офиске ұқсамайды екен бізде. Свет. Біреудің компьютері қосылып тұр ғой. Төрт жүз жиырма жеті. Жаңа біз шыққан кабинет пе екен? Мынақты ештеңе жоқ. Басатын. Значит, артқа кету керек. Қара экран.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Так, тым көріп тұрған жоқпын мен. Соңы уже жақындап дейді ғой. Қайтадан бастап кеттік қой. Значит, ана адам тыңдау керек деп тұр ғой мені. Тыңдап көрейік онда. Қайтадан бастады. Уақыт дәл жаңағындай. Көрейік ал онда тыңдап. Ал кірейік ал сол жаққа. Переговорный дейді ғой. Актовый зал.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Бастықтың кабинетіне дейді. Бастық кабинетіне барып көрейік онда. Бастық бар ма екен?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Мынаны көрейікші. Қызыл. Қызыл. Жақсы, айтқан адам жолымен жүріп көрейік онда. Бастықтың кабинетіне қарай. Туалет дейді. Офисі өші басқаша екен. Бастықтың кабинеті осы болу керек.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Не делит?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs, trying to input, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code. by sheer luck, amazing, he stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ана бастығы деген күшті екен. Секретный комнатасы бар. Үш жерге кетіп қалдым екен. Астына дейді. Басайық онда.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Так, миды контролировать ететін завод дей ма, сондай бірдеңе дейді. Кімнің миын контролировать етеді екен?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
Ракет
horrible
ашатын зат
secret did
сияқты.
this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Камера.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Каждый адамдардың қарап тұрған екен ғой осылай. Так, біз қайсы едік? 376 ма? Ана бастықтың кабинетінде тұр. Былай жүрек.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Так, мына комнатада айтуы бойынша бәр затын контролировать еткен эмоция, действие бәрін. Біздің ойнап отқан жігіттің де заттарын бәр затын контролировать еткен.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Так, біз мына жерде тоқтата аламыз. Оғынды шүртсеп, немесе қоса аламыз. Ештеңе істемейміз. Ештеңе істемесек онда бәрін адам емесін контроль етіп отыр ғой бәрін. Өшірейік.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No
Әлі
longer
өтпеген
would
заттар
anyone
бар
tell him
дейді
where
ғой.
to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Так, мен еркіндікті таңдаймын онда.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Стэнли бақытты болды дейді. Стэнли деген біз главный герой. Бітті ме сонда? Так, онда бүгінше осымен аяқтайық. Ертең жалғастырармыз. Лайк, коммент, подписка басуды ұмытпаңдар. Келесі кездескенше.